Hi, my name is Vachaspati Bimali and by profession I am an IELTS and PT instructor. Today in this YouTube video I am gonna provide you wonderful tips to IELTS text takers about IELTS reading passage. So number one tip, don't expect to understand every word. During my experience, I have been teaching IELTS almost for 3 decades. Most of the students try to understand every word in IELTS reading passage, which is utterly impossible. Okay, not only not only IELTS test takers, even accomplished IELTS instructors, veteran English professors, they also don't understand every word in IELTS reading passage. What I would like to tell here, most of the students have been taught to look up every word in a dictionary. They don't understand in a dictionary. The theory behind this is really admirable. A wide range of vocabulary is a key to getting good score in the IELTS test. But worrying about all the words you don't understand in the reading exam is one of the worst things you can do. If you don't understand a word in the reading text, there are two things you can do. You can look at the words and sentences around it for clues. You can look at the words and sentences around it for clues as to its meaning, or you can move on to the next and forget about it. You don't have to understand the meaning of every word in IELTS reading passage. Even well-educated native speakers, the people who belong to Australia, Canada and America, even they can understand each word in IELTS reading passage. And many IELTS teachers would not be able to understand all the words in the reading test. So candidates worry about the meaning of every word, panic, and spend too much time thinking about words that might not be related to the questions. Focus on the words that are related to the question and don't worry about the words you don't understand. Okay, number two, I'm gonna provide you number two wonderful tips. So most of the students, what they do, before they take IELTS, they completely focus on IELTS reading passage only. So what I mean here, in order to get incredible mastery in English language, you don't have to read all the passages that are related to IELTS. Most of the students, they start reading IELTS reading passages from volume 1 to volume 19. It's not bad, but what I would like to tell you here, if you really want to get an extraordinary command over English, you don't have to read only IELTS related book only. You have to dive into the ocean of English. By reading the bulky books of English literature, which have been written by eminent writers of England, America, and Australia. And next, another things what I would like to tell you here, practice your reading skills, not your IELTS skill. What does it mean? It's important to familiarize yourself with the IELTS reading test. Okay, IELTS reading tips and gain in understanding of various questions. It is also important to learn from your mistakes. However, students who just practice IELTS exam are missing out on a good opportunity to improve their general reading skills. IELTS reading text can be a little boring and you are more likely to read regularly if you are about something which are interested in. Reading for pleasure, you have to read for pleasure. Reading for pleasure is a little everyday will not only improve your English but also improve your vocabulary. There are thousands of blogs, newspapers, magazines and different kinds of articles that you can choose from online, and practice makes people perfect. What I mean here, instead of reading IELTS related passages from Cambridge books, you need to focus on different things. You can read novels, you can read dramas, you can read articles, you can read different kinds of essays which have been written by prolific writers. You should immerse yourselves in English literature. You must dive into the ocean of English, read the books which are written in English. This is how you can improve your reading skills. So remember, nobody can, achieve an incredible English proficiency overnight. It takes time. Okay, I have been teaching IELTS for the last 3 decades. You might not believe more than 500 books I have read intensively and extensively in order to gain more vocabulary. Okay, hope students you have understood what you need to do in order to build vocabulary in IELTS reading passage. Okay, so dear students, today I would like to give you number 3, third number instructions. Okay, that is, read the instructions very carefully. Most of the students they don't read the instructions very carefully. As a result, they make mistakes, which is not good in IELTS listening and reading sections. In IELTS listening and reading sections, at first you have to read the instructions, you have to follow the instructions. If you disobey the instructions, even though your answer is right, you will not get a score in IELTS listening and reading. So what I would like to tell you here, read the instructions very carefully. So many easy marks are lost by good students in IELTS exam because they fail to read the instructions properly. This is especially true in the reading and listening test because they give very specific instructions. If you don't follow these instructions exactly, you will get the question wrong. For example, the instructions might state, write 2 words and or a number. Write 2 words and or a number. This could mean one word. This could mean one word and a number. You can write there one word, or instead of writing one word, you can write one word and a number. You need to follow the instructions very carefully. Sometimes they give instructions like not more than 3 words. I mean, like, let me give you example. In which direction the sun rises? Okay, not more than 3 words. Here you can write answers in one word, east. In 2 words, in east. In 2 words, in the east. So what I mean here, you can write the answers below the boundary. You can touch the boundary, but you cannot cross the boundary. Below the boundary, that's fine, but you cannot cross the boundary. So what you need to keep in mind, you have to read the instructions very carefully in IELTS listening and reading. Okay, otherwise you will not get the score in IELTS even though your answer is correct. Okay, dear students, now I am going to provide you next tip, that's tip number 4. Okay, don't panic. What I have seen in my teaching career, most of the students, they remain under stress the moment they appear in IELTS reading test, and most of the students even give up IELTS speaking reading test since it is very difficult. They have often told me, sir, I cannot attempt all the questions in IELTS within 60 minutes. It's very difficult. But don't panic. In IELTS, sometimes you get easy questions. Sometimes you may get extremely difficult questions. But don't worry. If you have good vocabulary, you can attempt all the questions. I have appeared in IELTS many times, and most of the times I have scored 9 in reading. If this is possible for me, it will be possible for you also. Believe that. Okay, so what I believe, there is nothing impossible in this world. Okay, if there is, even ordinary people also can be extraordinary if they have cultivated the reading habit. So what number 4 tips is, don't panic. What I mean here, some of the questions will be very easy and some will be very difficult. The key is not to panic when trying to answer a difficult one. Nearly all of the IELTS teachers I know have to check answers to some questions before they are so difficult. The wrong thing is to spend a lot of time on questions and fail to spend enough time on the rest of the questions. If the answers, if the answers does not present itself, move to the next. You can always come back to the difficult questions later, and answering the other questions will often help you. So time and knobs need to control in order to do well in the IELTS reading test. Okay. In reading test, in reading passage, okay. So what cannot help you, if you become nervous, it will not help you anyways. You are probably going to get all of the questions correct. Accepting this will help you to control your time and emotions on the test. So what I mean here, you don't have to lose confidence. Okay, you have to read the passage very quickly, and you need to find out where the answer is located. Okay, don't panic. Okay, build confidence and everything will be good. Believe me that scoring 9 in reading is possible. Okay, now I'm going to provide you next tip number 5. Okay, IELTS is really a vocabulary test. What I mean here, in many ways, reading test is a more of a vocabulary test than reading test. They will use synonyms and paraphrase sentences to test how wide your vocabulary is. To prepare for this, I advise my students to do 3 things: read, note, and review. As mentioned in tip number 2, reading is the best way to improve your vocabulary. Memorizing list of the words is not as effective as seeing words in the context. When you see a new word you don't understand, try to guess the meaning from the context. This means that you should try to guess the meaning because based on the words and the sentences around it. You will be expected to do this in the exam, so it's a good idea to get practicing now. Only when you have done that you should check in the meaning. Next, you should put all the new words in a special IELTS vocabulary notebook. Let me repeat it. Next, you should put all the new words in a special IELTS vocabulary notebook. Record not only the meaning but also the things like synonyms, antonyms, collocations, form examples, pronunciations, and pictures. You don't have to record all of these things, just the ones that you work for you. All our brain work differently, so find out what helps to remember vocabulary and use it. Finally, there is no point in recording all this new vocabulary if you don't. After putting all the effort into looking up the meaning and record everything in a notebook, it would be a waste of time if you don't look at regularly again. I advise students to look at a new vocabulary once a week after first studying. Okay, so what you need to do in order to build vocabulary, you should develop reading habit. Whenever you start reading any kind of novel, newspaper, drama, when you get any kind of word you have never ever heard before, underline that word and write the meaning of that word. Write the meaning by giving arrow sign and try to use the same word next time when you begin to write. This is how you should build vocabulary. So, dear students, now I am gonna provide you 6 tips especially for solving IELTS reading passage. Number 6 is time is very crucial. What you need to do, many IELTS instructors I have found them telling, in order to solve IELTS reading passage 1, you need to invest 70 minutes, and to solve IELTS reading passage you need to spend 20 minutes, and for solving IELTS reading passage you need to invest 25 minutes. So what I would like to tell you here, you need to allocate time by yourself. If you think IELTS reading passage 1 is very easy, you shouldn't invest much time over there. If you can finish IELTS reading passage 1 within 15 minutes, okay, you should go to the IELTS reading passage 2. Okay, in my opinion, according to my experience, you will get easier passage in IELTS reading passage 1 in comparison to IELTS reading passage 1. Passage 2 will be harder, but passage 3 will be the most difficult one. I mean, you need to allocate time by yourself. Okay, if the question is very easy, you should do it very fast. If the question demands, if you think this passage needs more time to solve the passages, to write the answers of the passages. You need to invest longer time. Okay, so at last what I would like to tell, they will provide you 60 minutes only to write the answers of 40 questions, and within 55 minutes you should be able to finish reading passage 1, reading passage 2, and reading passage 3. After that, you need to allocate 3 to 5 minutes for transferring answers to answer sheet. Did you get my students? Are you getting me? Hopefully you are getting me. Now I would like to give you another tips, that is practice slow and fast. What I mean here, many teachers advise students to practice for the IELTS reading test under exam condition. This means you do the practice test in 1 hour without any help, just like in the exam. This is a poor advice for a few reasons. By doing the test under exam conditions, you put too much pressure on yourself and you don't give yourself time to reflect on how to answer specific question types, spot patterns in questions and how you answer them. Note down the common vocabulary and notice how much time you spend answering certain questions. I mean, okay, when you practice, when you appear in mock test in your own room, and so it is not necessary that you have to start practicing under exam conditions. As soon as 60 minutes finishes, you have to submit the answers. Okay, sometimes you can practice under exam conditions. Sometimes if you need more time to solve any particular passage like reading passage, true, false, not begin, not given, match the followings, match the headings, okay, write the summary. If you need more time for specific tasks, invest more time. I mean, sometimes try to solve as reading passage under exam conditions, and if you need more time for a specific task, you can take more time in order to practice. Dear students, now I am going to provide you 2 more tips. One is be careful while transferring your answers. In the test, you will be asked to transfer your answers to an answer sheet. A common mistake is to spend too much time on reading and answering questions and leaving very little time to transfer your answers. It is only natural that silly mistakes are made when people are under pressure. I advise my students to practice with the IELTS answer sheet and see how much time it takes them to transfer their answers. This will allow you to familiarize yourself with the process and have confidence on the test day. My last tip is that leave no blanks. What does it mean? This might seem one of the most obvious in IELTS reading tips, but you should be surprised how many people leave blanks. Even if you don't know the answer, make sure you attempt every question. You might get lucky and you have nothing to lose. I mean, you don't have to leave questions, okay? You should try to, in true, false, not given. What I mean here, if you couldn't understand the passage completely, especially in true, false, not given, reading passage 1 and reading passage 2, what I would like to advise, if you haven't understood anything and true, false, not given, and everywhere you write, you have to click on false, 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 either false or not given, not given, not given. You might get 6 to 7 questions in IELTS reading passage 1. In true, false, not given, everywhere, in every questions you can write not given, not given, not given. But you have to guess randomly if you haven't read. Now, if you couldn't get the answers because of your poor vocabulary, if you are not able to get the answers, you can guess. Everywhere write not given, not given, not given, randomly. Okay. And out of 6-7 questions, if you are lucky, 3-4 questions will be right. Okay. Even in that reading passage 3 also, you will get true, false, not given. Then you will get 6 to 7 questions. So if you are pretty sure, if you are damn sure, you have to write whether it's true, false, not given. If you have understood the passage. If you haven't understood the passage, you have to take risks. What I mean here, okay, In every questions we have to write not given, not given, not given. If you are lucky enough, 3-4 questions will be right. Similarly, in match the headings, okay, IELTS examiner will give you options, and every match the headings. If there are from A, B, C, D, E, F, G, S, okay, everywhere write A, and your answers will be correct. What I mean here, do not leave blanks. Okay, try to guess. There is no negative marking in IELTS like PT. So, dear students, today I have given you wonderful tips to solve IELTS reading passages. At last, what I would like to tell, that tips and tricks, may not help you in order to especially in IELTS reading passage. What you need to do, you need to develop your vocabulary. And some other things I would like to tell you, in reading passage, one more important things I would like to do, I would like to tell you here, is skimming habit and scanning. Skimming means at first you have to read the passage very quickly, try to get the general view of the passage. And after that there is scanning. Scanning means you have to read the passage very quickly in order to find the specific answers. You need to develop skimming skills and what scanning skills. And last but not the least, what you need to do in order to solve the IELTS passage, at first you have to read the passage very quickly, and you should mention subtopics near about the questions, or you can ask for rough paper. And at first generate subtopics of each passage and try to find out the answers on the basis of the subtopics you have generated. And if you are not able to find out the answers, again you have to read the passage. And sometimes you can get passages according to order, and sometimes you may not get answers according to order. For instance, in IELTS reading passage, in passage number 1 to 5, most of the questions are in order. And as you go ahead in question number 10 to 13, some questions may be in order, some questions may not be in order. So what I have seen in my life, especially in reading passage 1, reading passage 2, and reading passage 3, okay, beginning questions, question number from 1 to 3, and in reading passage 2, question number from, let's say, 14 to 17, and reading passage, okay, I mean question number 27 to 30. So most of the questions are in order, but as you go ahead, some questions are not in order. So IELTS reading is not very difficult. If you have immense vocabulary, if you have regularly read English books, the book can be of sociology, book can be of anthropology, book can be of political science. You need to dive into the ocean of English in order to build your vocabulary. So trust me guys, IELTS reading is not very difficult. It's very easy. You can get 9 out of 9 in IELTS reading and listening. I have attempted so many times an IELTS exam. In reading I have got 9, in listening I have got 9. If this is possible for me, this will be possible for you also. So dear students, today I have given you wonderful tips about IELTS reading passage. And if you like my teaching style, if my teaching style is really impressive, you can give me a call in my cell phone number. I have given you my cell phone number in YouTube. You can give me a call. If I am not available to entertain your call because of my hectic schedule, you can give call in alternative numbers, and one of my family members will receive your call and they will tell you when I am free. When I am free, I will text you a message, I will give you a phone call. Thank you very much. Please subscribe my channel and write comment box in the comment sections. Thank you very much.